Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 minutes more or less ship review, right behind me, the ANVIL Hawk. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, welcome back to another review. Thank you, Cypher1, WinRAR42, and of course, What124 for helping with today's review of the ANVIL Hawk and being great player versus player targets out there in the verse, just to see how well this thing performs. The ANVIL Hawk is $100 if you're to buy it on the Pledge Store, or 2,646,000 aUEC. It's definitely an awesome looking ship, and I'm going to tell you a little history here. It was developed initially for Project Brawler, a military contract. ANVIL pitched the Hawk using many components shared with their Hornet line, aiming for efficiency, and despite the contract win, the Hawk saw limited success in broader UEE Navy service, so its niche performance didn't align well with general warfare demands. But it did have a civilian success with the U9C model, which is the 2940 plus model that we have in game now, where the ANVIL released it tailored for civilian use, which included the EMP Generator to disable a target rather than destroy it, as well as a single containment pod for securely transporting a captive. So with that, this ship has a 6-minute and 48-second claim time, or if you expedite it, it is 2 minutes and 16 seconds, which is actually really good if you're out there in a light fighter and you want to go ahead and get back on the battlefield if you get destroyed. 2 minutes and 16 seconds, it's a really quick up out of your seat, go get some water, come back, you're ready to go, get out there in the fight. As the pilot, you do have 1,582 burst damage per second due to the 2 size 1 sucker punch distortion cannons and the 4 size 2 CF227 Badgers. And then you also have 1 Tromag burst generator, which is an EMP outputting 2,475 damage at about 750 meters as its max. So the closer you are to a target, once you have the ship's shields down, as in the enemy that you're shooting, you go ahead and take that EMP generator and set it off, and there's a very good chance you're going to cause some major distortion damage, including the disablement of their radar, which will give you the competitive edge. While they don't have a radar and can't track you, you can go ahead and shoot down on them, and then if you hit it again, you might disable the ship altogether, which you'll see in the PvP fight later. Now, this ship here, if you're going to look at the weapons package, I personally don't like the distortion guns on this ship because it's size 1 and they don't do really enough to do anything bigger than a light fighter. So I recommend, and I kind of looked at this at a few different angles. You can go with a complete CF package, which is your typical package you want to go with in a fight out there in the verse when you're going against players. But today I was fighting in the ANVIL Hawk with a complete NN package, the NN14s and the NN13s, and I did phenomenal. So that's also a good option. Now you do have 2 size 1 shield generators outputting 3,460 bubble shield. I, of course, advise upgrading that to FR66s, which will give it a little bit more strength, but a very quick generation. Once you are not being hit for a few seconds, you're already regaining that shield, which is very nice in a fight in PvP. You do have 16,600 ship HP, which is actually more than it used to have, which is awesome. So now you can take more of a hit, your wings are a lot more sturdy, and you're out there for a lot longer in that fight, allowing you to actually have many victories compared to what it was many months ago. Now you do have a top SCM speed of 225 with a 490 forward boost, a 250 backwards boost, and a top nav speed of 1,217. It's definitely pretty snazzy and pretty quick when it comes down to the straight line speed, 225 SCM is pretty much in line with other light fighters, and I think it does a phenomenal job keeping up with them. It does have a 63, 52, 190 pitch yaw roll, or a boosted 76, 62, 228, which isn't terrible when you're out there boosting, and this thing has quite the boost tank, allowing you to stay maneuverable for quite a bit of time. Now, you do have 48 flares and 5 decoys, which is average among the board, and then you have 10.5 SCU of hydrogen fuel and 1.1 SCU of quantum fuel, which it's a bit low on the quantum fuel side, but this is absolutely a ship meant to just go from station to station or ship to ship, and that's it. It's not a long-range ship where you're going to have a bed. It used to technically have a bed in the back where that prisoner transport is, but now it's specifically, you open it up, which I'll show you here in a second, and you would attach a prisoner pod to it and bring it back in. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at the exterior of this ship really quick, and then we'll go into the PvP fights, which are all going to be in first-person view. So right here is the exterior. It's a phenomenal looking ship. When it's landed, it looks mean. When it's up in the air, it looks mean. And it has really good attention to detail. I do really enjoy that. If you go up to the cockpit here, you hold F, you can actually open the storage too, allowing you to store whatever you want in there, which is always really nice. Oh, and also, did I tell you the ANVIL Hawk has a, windshield issue that you can actually get shot and killed by an enemy's PDCs or by ballistic handheld weapons and possibly even ballistic ship weapons. Take a look. And then if you make your way towards the back where there used to be a bed, but no more, you go ahead and hit the button right over here and open that up. And then this is where the prisoner pod will one day attach. So you'll go ahead and cart that on over. You'll be like, here we go. I got my prisoner. And then you detach it right on here. Click. You're good to go. And you go ahead and press that button and it would go ahead and take that prisoner pod right on in up there. And then you are transporting them to their forever home, depending on what crime they committed. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at the PvP fight and I'll give you my score. Now, as you can see, this thing performs phenomenally in PvP. It does really well. Its maneuverability is a little bit less than the other fighters out there, the light fighters, but it still is able to keep up, especially with the boost tank that it has. And then you have good amount of speed, you have a great amount of firepower, and then if you take advantage of that EMP, either by setting up a shortcut or just, you know, going to it, rotating between that and your weapons once in a while, you're gonna do phenomenal damage, allowing to disable your target and then just shoot them out of the sky. Overall, my score is a 90 out of 100 for the ANVIL Hawk, and there is just a little bit of a score cut there just because it does have some features attached to the ship that you can't even use anymore. I really wish we still had that bed back there. I'd really love that, but outside of that, it's a phenomenal light fighter, and I'm going to say phenomenal 3 more times just to make sure that you know what this thing is. It is great. I absolutely consider this an S tier fighter compared to the Arrow and the Gladius and the L-21 Wolf. So between it, these 4 are going to be your top line fighters in the verse at the moment. Here's the cockpit, by the way. 4 MFDs, a fantastic amount of information. Its power usage is a little bit hit and miss depending on what you're putting in there, and you do have yourself an ejection seat, which is really nice. But outside of that, again, a 90 out of 100. Let me know what you think of the ANVIL Hawk, especially with the recent upgrades to its maneuverability, to its overall functionality. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. You all are truly amazing, and I'll see you all in the next one.